Well, hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Really excited to get back on the floor. Have had a couple good days of practice. I'll start off with the injury report. Cullen will be out 4 weeks. Best case scenario is 3 weeks he can start practicing. Worst case scenario, he can't start practicing for 5 weeks. So he's in a boot and he's walking around a little bit and doing that. Arthur has a dislocated little chip fracture on his joint on his right hand. I think it's on his ring finger. He's been without a splint for a little bit, but he has to wear a splint a lot, so hopefully he'll come back a little bit sooner. It's just going to depending on how the bone heals. But it came all the way through his skin, and our doctor that was with us and Nate did a great job getting it back and getting it stitched up. And then Jordan Goodman won't play, will not play against USC. So he's somehow was hit in practice, and now he has to go through the concussion treatment. So I don't know how long he'll be out, but he will not play on Sunday. Freshmen are coming along really well. We'll start X. I'll be in the starting lineup. And then Joe and Sam have done a really good job. So Sam will play Tim Jacobs a little bit. And then get ready for a really good USC team that has a lot of talent, doesn't have a good record, but does have a lot of talent. We got a really good point guard in Jordan McLaughlin. We got Clark as a power forward. They got a couple foreign kids that are big kids that are good players. Stewart can shoot it. And then, of course, Caitlin that played at UNLV and now is at USC, so he's a good player too. So we'll have our hands full on Sunday and look forward to the opportunity.
As far as Colin goes, is it the matter of swelling?
No, it's just pain. Anytime you get a sprain, there's some sort of tear. But his is pretty severe, a high ankle sprain, and it didn't tear all the way through, so it didn't require surgery. So his is going to be on just how much he can take and how much he can do. But if it gets into January 15th, then I'll have to make a decision on what I'm going to do with him.
With the Jordan incident, was that just since you guys have been back?
Tuesday, I think. Tuesday.
And with the concussion protocol, that's doctor's call. They make the call when he's okay, right?
Yeah, they have to go through the. All our kids do a base situation where they get tested before the season starts, and then they just kind of go off of that. So we'll see what happens. But I know he's not. I know for sure he's not playing on Sunday.
With obviously some shuffling going on with X starting, Tim playing more minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a set kind of split for Hugh on the point and Hugh off the ball?
Don't really have a split. Probably try to play him anywhere from 30 to 35 minutes. So however that split works, depending on what happens.
Okay,
I don't know.
Some on the ball,
Yes, they'll have to be because Tim can't play off the ball.
Why was X the choice to set him at starting line?
It's just his turn. It's just basically his turn. I mean, Sam's had chances, and everybody I think has had an opportunity, and Arthur had an opportunity, and unfortunately he got hurt. So now it's X's turn, and I think X has done some good things, but we're just going to keep getting better, and those guys are going to get experience. So they just got to keep battling and keep getting better. But that's why they came here. They came here to play. So it's like I told them yesterday. They're going to have an opportunity to play. So you got to try to take care of take advantage of the opportunity.
What's practice been like this week in terms of coming off a 1-2 tournament that they probably weren't happy with 2 losses? How have they responded?
They've been good. Practice has been very competitive. Nobody's been casting stone on who's going to start on Sunday. But the only one I can tell you is X is going to, and Hugh will. I'm sure Deshaun will. But other than that, everything's pretty up for grabs. So when you do that, you have pretty competitive practices, and we'll have a real competitive practice today. It should be interesting to see what happens. So, getting down on the pit, and we'll do a lot of game situation stuff today that that we'll see who's ready to play and who's ready to compete.
At that 5 spot, is it still just a 2-man, just those two, or is there a chance somebody else might get onto the floor without O or JJ on the floor?
Well, we can go either way. With Jordan being out and Joe being a freshman, I could see us playing Devin and Joe together. I could saw us playing Joe and Jordan together, and even Jordan and Devin together. But without Jordan being able to play, it kind of handcuffs you. You're looking at where you're basically missing 3 starters. Well, I mean, Arthur wouldn't be a starter if Cullen was back, but he'd be a guy that was your 6th man. And then, Jordan, you kind of thought that he would come in and do some things that you expected, and that hasn't transpired.
What's your biggest concern as a coach with having so many younger guys?
Well, I think just the things that have hurt us early has just been turnovers, taking care of the ball, shot selection, and then just, team defensive-wise, just knowing the scheme that we're in or how we're trying to guard people without them forgetting, or, they're young and they've never been put, I don't think some of them never been put through a situation where they're guarding a certain way and expected to do a certain thing. So, that's your biggest issues. And then, the communication thing, and, they got to mature pretty quick. So, the biggest thing I think is the turnovers, running the offense, dealing with pressure, and then, how you're going to play team defensively.
So without Colin, what are you guys going to try to do to, generate, more points and get on the board?
Well, I think we got to shoot the ball better, and I think, we got to try to get to the line better. I think Deshaun has picked up his scoring, which has helped. I think he needs to continue to do that. We've got to get some scoring from X and Sam, then we've got to get some scoring from our inside players. So, I think, I talked to Hugh, and Hugh's got to just play within the offense and take shots that, I think he pressed a little bit. So I think that took him out of the way he plays, and I think he took some tough ones that are hard to make, and I think he'll be better suited this weekend. And we just got to get some points in transition. One thing we've tried to do in transition, when you don't have a player like we do, we don't have anybody to throw it to in the low post. Right now we just don't have that. And that's why you got to try to get easy transition baskets, and we haven't been able to do that. So hopefully we'll generate a little bit more of that.
Coach, can this be helpful in terms of depth down the road, where these guys are getting minutes that they probably wouldn't have gotten otherwise?
Well, it's going to be helpful either way. It's going to be helpful in the sense that they're going to play and gain some experience. And then if those guys can't come back and they can't play the rest of the year, then it's going to give them valuable experience that, that happens. Or if those guys come back, it gave them the experience that you can play deeper and there's not any lull in they don't have any game minutes, because they're going to have game minutes. So the way we look at it is we're going out there with the team we have and really excited about it. And I think those guys are able to do it. I'm confident they can do it. And then those new guys will gain valuable experience. So it's going to help you either way.
Does this put a damper on maybe the amount of minutes you manage with Hugh this early on in the season?
Not necessary. I got to be, I got confidence to play Tim. It's just one of those things where he hasn't been in, and is he going to do what we need him to do? And if he does that, then he'll play more. And I think he'll do that. That's why he's a walk-on that we kind of recruited, and we have 3 point guards on our roster. So that's usually what we carry, and that's all we carry. And then we usually had some guys that could play combo guards, but, Sam and X are getting better with their ball handling and a little bit more confident. Didi's got to be more confident, and I thought Arthur was doing a good job, but then he's out. So, we'll see what happens on Sunday.
More specific to USC, you talked about you guys are still building on that team defense and some communication. How have you felt the team's done on transition defense, since USC is a team that's
Not very well. I thought that hurt us in the Texas A&M game, where I think we gave them, 2 baskets on made field goals, which is just, communicating and know what we're doing. So we got to improve on that. I'm happy with the way our guys have gone for a young team. If you look at our stats, they're pretty formidable to what we've done over the years, and we've been pretty solid defensively. So we just got to keep people off the line and not give them easy scores and make them work for every score. So if we can do that, we'll be right where we need to be.
Which, wanting to play faster, do you throw a press at these guys, and what you determine?
Well, I think we press. I don't think we press as much in Puerto Rico because you got 3 games in 4 days. But we've pressed. We've done a good job with it. I think we'll do some different things and change up, which I think that's what we're going to have to do all year. We're going to have to change up and keep people off guard after timeouts. But we'll see what happens on Sunday. A lot of that's yet to be determined because we haven't practiced that stuff and the game plan till today and tomorrow. So we can do a lot of different things with our talent. It's just that now you've taken 3 guys out of the rotation, so it limits your ability to play 11, 12 guys.
Coach, you like first thing there, Joe and Gonga say, I remember first thing there came in and maybe he was the 6th or 7th guy one game, and then you didn't see him too much, and then Gonga was the same way. Is it more the opponents, or is it more how they're producing? Or?
Well, I think and this has been however you play. When you're a bench guy, your role and your leash is a lot shorter. And if you're not going to come in and play hard right away and do the things we need, it's when you're a bench player. And the only reason why I say this is because I did it for 3 years or did it for 2.5 years. If you don't come in right away, you don't have 5-6 minutes to get warmed up. So it's a little bit different than the guys that are starting or the guys that get out there and get going.